Hello everyone. In today's video we dive into the latest article by Dr. Turki Faisal al-Rashid, published in Arab News, titled is The Battle for Consciousness in the Arab World. Before we begin, let me introduce the author. Dr. Turki Faisal al-Rashid, a Saudi businessman, academic, and thought leader. As an adjunct professor at the University of Arizona and advisor, American University of Beirut, Faculty of Food and Agricultural, Dr. Turki Faisal al-Rashid, founder of Golden Grass Inc., he brings a rare blend of vision, expertise, and real-world insight to every article he writes. Dr. al-Rashid is also a distinguished author. His upcoming book, Saudi Arabia, Transformation, Uncertainty, and Sustainability, explores the kingdom's evolving economic and social landscape amid global change, offering deep insights into development, resilience, and long-term sustainability. Let's dive in.
Have you ever felt like you're just caught in a storm of information, where it's a real struggle to figure out what's real and what's not? Well, you are definitely not alone. What we're seeing today, especially in places like the Arab world, is nothing short of a battle. And it's not for land or resources, but for something way more fundamental, our very consciousness. All right, let's get into it. So in this explainer, we're going to break this whole thing down into 5 key parts. First, we'll define what this battle for consciousness really means. Then we'll jump on to the main battlefield, social media. After that, we'll look at a massive case study, the Arab Spring, to see the real-world impact. Then we'll zoom in a bit and explore the psychological chaos it creates for all of us. And finally, the big one. What can we actually do to get some clarity back? Okay, so first things first. When we talk about a battle for consciousness, what are we even fighting over? Let's define the front lines here. Now, according to our source material, consciousness isn't just, being awake and aware. It's way more active than that. It's the ability to look at the world in all its messy, complex detail, analyze it, and then actually form your own informed insights. This is the bedrock of making rational decisions. And that leads us right to the conflict itself. It's this constant fight to shape what we all think and how we see the world. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. This isn't a battle everyone is really equipped for. Navigating it, seeing through the fog, requires some pretty sharp analytical skills. So, where is this battle taking place? Well, the main arena is the digital world, and specifically social media platforms, which have become this incredibly powerful double-edged sword. And this just lays it out perfectly, the 2 faces of social media. On one side, you have the promise, right? It was going to democratize information, raise awareness, inspire movements for freedom. It gave a voice to millions. But there's the other side. That same speed lets misinformation just explode. It gets exploited by powerful groups, it traps us in these polarizing echo chambers, and it's used to systematically chip away at the very idea of truth. And those echo chambers, man, they're powerful because they tap into our basic human need to belong. When everyone in your feed thinks the same thing, it feels safe. And it feels true. That's the trap. So why is social media so dang effective at this? Well, there's actually a theory for it. It's called information diffusion theory. And it basically says that ideas, especially new ones, travel way, way faster through our social circles than through old school media like TV or newspapers. This theory really helps explain why these platforms became such an explosive engine for change in the Arab world. But see, when powerful groups decide to join the fight, they don't exactly play fair. They show up with some serious tools of manipulation. We're talking about sophisticated algorithms that are literally designed to keep you angry and engaged. Armies of automated bots that amplify certain messages, huge paid campaigns, and propaganda targeted so precisely it feels like it's reading your mind. These are the weapons of this modern war. Okay, I know this can all sound a little bit abstract, so let's ground it in a real-world example that shows just how incredibly high the stakes are: the Arab Spring. The story of the Arab Spring is it's a tragic arc. It began with so much hope back in 2011. In places like Tunisia and Egypt, activists were using Facebook and Twitter to organize, to show the world what was happening. And they actually toppled dictators. But it didn't take long for other forces to step in and weaponize those exact same platforms for counter-propaganda. In Libya and Syria, they turned these uprisings into brutal, endless civil wars. And today, more than a decade later, many of these countries are left with shattered economies and a public that is just completely fractured by years and years of these competing manipulative stories. And this constant battle, it doesn't just fracture societies on the outside.
It fractures us on the inside. It messes with our minds. And to really get a handle on this deep psychological turmoil, it is wild to see how a novel from 100 years ago pretty much predicted our current digital crisis.
The book is called Zeno's Conscience, and it was published way back in 1923. It's described as this deep dive into the main character's doubts and inner conflicts, but honestly, it's so much more than that. It's like a mirror held up to our modern anxieties. So just think about this character, Zeno. He's completely trapped by paralyzing overanalysis. He's chronically indecisive. He just can't bring himself to act. He's lost his inner balance, his sense of calm. Does any of this sound familiar? This isn't just some guy in a book. This is the signature anxiety of the 21st century, supercharged by this constant fire hose of digital information that's slowly eroding our shared sense of what's right and wrong. So here's the real kicker. Zeno didn't have a smartphone, but he was drowning in the exact same sea of uncertainty. His struggle with a fragmented self is our struggle today. We are all trying to navigate this constant onslaught of information that's designed to knock us off balance personally and as a society. The battle for consciousness isn't just out there, it's an internal fight for our own sanity.
So, if we're in a battle, that means we can fight back, right? So how do we do it? How do we win? Let's get into the final part of our explainer, the path forward. Our source material actually lays out a super clear 3-part strategy. First, it starts with education. We have to teach critical skills like how to analyze where information comes from and how the algorithms that run our feeds actually work. Second, governments need to step up and support independent research institutions that can give us impartial, fact-based studies. And third, well, this part's on us. As individuals, we just have to build the habit of methodically checking information from different sources before we accept it as truth.
And we really need to take this seriously, because this isn't just some thought experiment. Political science tells us something that is kind of mind-blowing. Public perception can literally become reality. What enough people believe to be true can actually shape events more powerfully than the cold, hard facts. That's why this battle for consciousness matters so much. And that brings us to our last thought. And it's a really powerful quote from the author of our source article, Dr. Turki Faisal Al-Rashid. He says, "A positive perception, anchored in truth, holds the key to transforming reality for the better." See, this isn't just about defending ourselves against lies. It's about proactively fighting to build a better reality, one that's based on clarity, on reason, and on a shared commitment to the truth. The only question left is, are we ready for that fight?
Conclusion. As we conclude this discussion, we return to the vision expressed by Dr. Turki Faisal Al-Rashid, a vision rooted in clarity, innovation, and a deep commitment to shaping a more stable and interconnected future. For the full article, you can find the complete details in the description below, or visit www.arabnews.com. And if you need a full story about Dirrit, and to learn more about the author, visit www.tfreshy.org. If this video gave you insight or inspired your thinking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more discussions like this. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay curious, and see you in the next video.